Hello, my friends. My name is Evelyn Joy, and welcome back to my channel. It's currently 6:24 a.m., and I could be sleeping, except for the last 4 years, I've been getting up early to teach, and so my brain is awake. I took my puppy out to use the bathroom outside because I'm potty training a puppy. That is neither here nor there. I received a comment on YouTube that said, VIPKID on their Facebook page has changed their address to Hong Kong. And I was like, no way. No way. The reason I was surprised is because Wales English and Data ABC recently moved their finances to Hong Kong. And so it seems like VIPKID is following the trend, but I've been more critical of Wales and Data because, you know, there's the question of will they refund parents? Will they pay their teachers, right? And they share an address in Hong Kong. So it's kind of like, what's going on here, right? But with VIPKID, I just got paid yesterday. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident about my company as opposed to other ones that's kind of questionable. So I'm kind of like, it's so crazy. I have a different perspective. I'm like, oh, I'm more sympathetic because I just got paid by them. I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is what the government's basically forced them into because, you know, their policies are so rigid that they're basically just trying to put them out of business, and maybe VIPKID's just trying to stay afloat. My second thought is, what? VIPKID has headquarters in San Francisco, so why do they need one in Hong Kong? And then I'm like, well, they still need that contact with, you know, they're continuing their business with Chinese students, and they're trying their best to follow all the Chinese regulations while also trying to stay afloat. So it's interesting. Hello. I have James watching. Hello. I have 4 people watching. Feel free to give a thumbs up. So I had to investigate this before I would show you guys. You can see in the thumbnail a screenshot of the official VIPKID page. Now, when this person left this comment, I had to research before I would say anything on YouTube because I deal with the facts, not hearsay here on this channel. I try my best to deal with the facts and not hearsay. I do give my opinions, but I give the disclaimer that this is my opinion, right? So I went to Facebook and I checked their group, Facebook official group first, and it didn't say any sort of address or anything. And then I realized that the person in the comments had said page, so I checked the official VIPKID page, and it now says based out of Hong Kong. Yes, okay, I'm going to highlight this. This is, I mean, promising. Wales English sent out a pay slip, and we are to be paid on the 1st of September. We are just on pins and needles to just make sure that you all get paid, and I'm so glad that it seems like you will be, and I just can't wait until you guys have it in the bank, right? So best wishes to all Wales English teachers moving forward, finding further employment. Okay, yeah, and then so Wales English closed down entirely. Data ABC just closed for the summer, saying that they'll be back on September 1st. But then VIPKID kind of did the same thing where we have some bookings, but it's just really not sure. Okay, James says he hasn't been paid by VIPKID yet. I have weekly pay. What kind of pay do you have? So I just feel hopeful because I'm seeing people get paid, which is good. So I'm going to share my screen. But I checked Google, and Google has outdated information. They, you know, their last update on VIPKID's address was in February. And then I checked VIPKID's website, and it gives an email. It doesn't have an address. It says we're based out of San Francisco and we have several offices in Beijing, is what they say. Okay, yes. Monthly pay is not quite time. When do you normally receive payment for monthly pay? Do tell. I was paid for weekly yesterday. So, but it should be good news to you that people are getting paid, so you should Oh, okay, I see that. Yeah, James says I live in Vietnam and it costs too much to be paid weekly. Yeah. And I've seen, okay. But one good thing and not having to do online ESL teaching is that not having to wake up in odd hours. Exactly. I used to split my sleep schedule and that was not fun. Yeah. Okay, you usually get paid about the 7th or the 15th of the month. Okay, very good. I've got a couple different Jameses watching. Okay, so I checked. Let me just show you Facebook. But the interesting thing is, this could mean that they still have offices in Beijing. I'm sure this will show up in the news, and I will share the news article or what have you, because VIPKID is such a big company. It'll show up somehow. But here we have. Do you see this right here? Based in Hong Kong. So this business is based in Hong Kong. So it doesn't have an address, but it's seeing VIPKID HK Hong Kong. Now, what's different about this is, VIPKID, yes, has an office in San Francisco and several office buildings in Beijing, but this is the first we've ever heard of VIPKID having an office in Hong Kong. Now, it makes sense to me, and it doesn't smell fishy to me because it's so crazy. When other companies move their finances to Hong Kong, I'm like, oh, I'm so fishy of them because they're not. I feel like maybe they're doing something bad. But then when VIPKID does it, I'm like, oh, that's probably smart. Probably because they paid me yesterday. Then I'm like, okay, well, they're just trying to stay afloat, right? But this does not mean that they closed their headquarters in Beijing, because I haven't heard of that yet. So stay posted. Make sure you're subscribed to me. As this rolls out, I will tell you information as I hear it. It's interesting. It's interesting. But we know that VIPKID has been paying teachers $20 per recording to record classes. That is with the belief that they're setting up their backup plan for when we American teachers cannot complete the full packages that our students in China have set up. Now, does VIPKID know the timeline of when that'll happen? Possibly yes, possibly no. And why are there some companies that have stopped for summer break and others are still operating? It's because the local government officials are specifically communicating with each specific company, and VIPKID was communicating through lawyers and probably still is, and everything, just trying to keep us going. But finally they had to submit to the rules, I suppose. But moving to Beijing, some VIPKID teachers, I can just hear them now in my head, are going to think, oh, they moved their headquarters to Beijing. Now that means that we're going to be able to teach weekends and everything. And unfortunately, the Chinese government's not going to allow that for our Chinese students, because no matter where the headquarters are, the Chinese government is going to crack down on that because of the students being Chinese students. And, the government has no problem blocking platforms if they're not following the rules. You know what I mean? Any update on 5-1 Talk? I know they have locations in the Philippines. I haven't heard anything from 5-1 Talk, but I have been hearing that the Chinese government is more focused about getting rid of the Western influence, whereas they don't seem to mind influence coming from the Philippines. So I would say they're probably not the focus right now. Yeah. Wales English, we're doing the same. Exactly. So we see like Wales English, Data ABC, and VIPKid kind of moving in the same direction of just trying to navigate what to do next. Whereas, GoGoKid just kind of shut down completely. Magic Ears is probably maybe moving in that direction. We're still finding out. Bling ABC has been just radio silence, and the teachers aren't seeing bookings starting soon, like in September. So, and Bling ABC, they schedule it for the whole semester. So the new semester is about to start and they're not seeing bookings and they haven't been communicated with. So we're still waiting to see what Bling ABC will say. I have some Wales teachers here in the chat box. I saw in my comments, someone told me that Wales never notified teachers and they just had no bookings and they had to find out from parents that they were no longer employed. Is that true? Wales English never sent out a notice or an email, or possibly maybe that person it went to the spam folder. I don't know. But I had one commenter say that Wales English did not inform their teachers. They just didn't have bookings and they had to find out from other sources. Okay, I know the middle school students will tell me by themselves that what their parents said, that from now on they won't have any after school English classes once school starts. Oh, are those VIPKid students? What company do you work for? That's interesting. First, they wiped the lessons and informed the parents immediately, but they didn't inform the teachers. Interesting. Okay. Well, it's interesting to me. Oh, you work for 51 Talk. Oh, 51 Talk says the middle school students say that their parents told them that they won't have English after school once school starts. Interesting. That's good to know. I had seen on Facebook, one person had said that VIPKid was hiring, 50,000 teachers from the Philippines, that some kid in China had said that. So I've been searching the internet trying to find, is there a YouTuber from the Philippines that has mentioned it? Is there an ad on Google that has mentioned it? And it just seems to be false information that I can see so far. I've been trying to find out, is VIPKid hiring people in the Philippines? It seems not. They may be hiring, foreigners that are living in China. I know that's true. But are they Filipino? They're probably a mixture of a bunch of stuff, right? Whatever foreigner is willing to teach English for VIPKid that lives in China, they're probably hiring them right now. I even saw a YouTuber with a small following who is moving to China to work for one of these companies. And I was just like, ooh, I'm not sure I would recommend that right now, because just things are going down in China. You don't want to be stuck there on lockdown. There's lockdowns beginning right now. You don't want to be stuck there with no job, potentially. So anybody that's watching that's thinking, oh, maybe I should just move to China, maybe 2021 might not be the best year. Check back in 2022. Probably still not a good idea. Just, a couple of years ago, much better idea, right? 2018, go back in time in your time machine, move to China, it'll be great. But right now, not good timing. All right. So Wales English did inform you. So first, they informed the parents by email, and then later informed the teachers. Well, at least the teachers eventually got informed, but we would like total transparency so we can plan ahead. That's why, when this started coming out in the news and these policies started being passed, I got on YouTube and I was like, look, guys, this is what I'm seeing. And people were like, you're a fearmonger. I'm like, I'm just trying to warn people in case this affects our job. And at first it seemed like it wasn't going to. And I was like, well, awesome. And then now it seems like we're going to need that backup plan about 2 weeks ago, like I said. I don't like being right when it's bad news. And I'm going to have to look up the definition of fearmonger because people are slinging it at all of us YouTubers and we're just trying to warn people. I'm making about $1 per video, guys. I'm not doing this for the big bucks. I've got a small YouTube channel. I'm barely monetized, guys. But I mean, it's nice to get $1 per video if I get enough views for it. And it's interesting. They're running to Hong Kong and they refuse to let it die already. Well, if you're talking about VIPKID and whales and data, it's not necessarily that they're running to Hong Kong and they refuse to let it die. It's that they're the problem is these parents have paid for large packages for the whole year. But what has VIPKID, what have these companies done with that money? Is it tied up in investments? Has it gone down in the stock market? We don't know what's happening, that maybe they don't have in the bank the money to give back to the parents. So I can't blame them for trying to stay afloat to try to, you know, give back to those parents what they've already paid for. I can't fault them for that. So yeah. Aw, that's so kind of you. You love my update videos. I am trying my best to keep people informed. But yeah, I can't fault these companies for trying to be honest and pay these parents back what they've paid for. I'm not in their position. They've hired lawyers. They're trying to communicate with the government. They're trying their best to please their customers, please their employees, and please the government. And right now, that's a very difficult task. So thus why moving a headquarters to Hong Kong likely was advised to them. Why Hong Kong? Hong Kong is technically still part of China, but it's not mainland China. So maybe some rules and regulations don't yet fully apply there. It's kind of a limbo area where, you know, it's not quite as strict over in Hong Kong. A lot of people, if they're trying to escape mainland China, they'll go to Hong Kong first before going to the country of origin. So Hong Kong's kind of a nice little middle ground for now, but, you know, the government's kind of cracking down on them. And I mean, how much longer will it be that much different from mainland China? We don't know. There's been a lot of interesting things happening in China over the last year. We'll say that much, you know, as far as protests and then protests no longer allowed. It's been interesting. It's hard not to get political when talking about governments, right? Yes, it's good to hear from other people in the same situation as us. And it's great for us to compare companies to see what's going on in China. You know what I mean? They can easily search your IP and then block all Westerners who use WeChat. Oh, have you seen my WeChat update? Yeah. 16 viewers. Woo! 15 now. Somebody saw that comment. I was like, I'm out. Just kidding. But yeah, you know who's watching right now? 14. Everybody's leaving. You know who's watching right now? All of the ESL teachers that our brains think that we're supposed to be awake right now. Our brains are like, I missed a class. I missed a class. I don't have classes today and I could be sleeping, but instead I'm wide awake because I thought I missed a class, right? I've had recently where I woke up, now I've got 12 people watching, nobody likes me. I recently had a class where I had a situation where I woke up, taught my 3 classes, I was exhausted, I went back to sleep, then I woke up at like 9:30 a.m. and I'm like, oh, Evelyn, you slept through all your classes. I feel really rested, but I feel really bad. I missed my classes. Then later I realized, Evelyn, you taught your classes. You just forgot. Ever done that, guys? Just me? Okay, just a second. I know another company, smaller one in Hong Kong. They lost all the contracts with Wall Street English. Never heard of that one. you can be posted in Hong Kong, but your students in China are being blocked access to you. What time is it with me right now? It is 6:44 a.m. But I've been up since 5 because I just had to go to the bathroom and take my puppy outside. It's 1:45 p.m. in Poland. Very cool. We start building our house in October. It's being designed with a classroom. When is over, we'll begin teaching at home. Very good. There's plenty of other options outside of China too, as far as jobs online. I just got a booking for next Saturday with one of my Hong Kong students. Hope it sticks. Yes, best of luck to you. I hope it sticks. It's interesting. It's interesting. So I keep us posted. I hope that does stick. Oh, so you're 12 hours away from me. So it's 6:44 p.m. for you. Very good. Good time to be awake. Good time to be awake. That would happen to me. I would panic when I would wake up from a nap. But what was your sleep schedule at VIPKID as a teacher? I would go to sleep at midnight, wake up at 5:15, hit the snooze button, 5:30, hit the snooze button, 5:45, hit the snooze button, get up at 5:15, go teach at 6, and I would teach from like 6 to 8. So yeah, but then with daylight savings time, do all that an hour earlier. So I would go to bed at like 11. The problem is I have 4 kids and now a puppy. So sleep, what is sleep really? You know, what is sleep? That's the real question. So it's going to be nice getting more sleep. For a little while, I was teaching for Outschool quite a bit last year. And so I actually stopped working for VIPKID for a while, and really the sleep was great. And I'm looking forward to doing that again, actually. So yeah, it's also funny. Today is the weekend. I taught, oh, that's true, today's Saturday. I taught Chinese kids from Beijing. italki is allowing parents to give us classes. They book as an adult. Oh, then poof, I see a 9-year-old looking at me. Oh. I have a total of 11 classes next week. It's not a whole lot, but it's something. It's some money. It's some money, maybe about $110 there, possibly, depending on your pay rate, right? Got an interview with Fluent Bee in Poland on Thursday. Awesome. Best of luck to you. I hope you get it. Before this shutdown, I was doing 14 to 18 classes each day. Ouch, that's a big pay cut. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. For this reason, I've been doing 2 sides of the spectrum, trying to give hope and options and making videos and interviewing people with companies that exist outside of China, and also sharing like creative ideas that teachers are doing to make money, because I'm also sharing the news about what's going on in China. None of these companies are at fault for the regulations, but they do have responsibility over their reaction to the regulations. I expect, if any of those companies ever watch this, which they won't, I expect you to pay all of your teachers and all of the parents back. I realize that may put you in a difficult financial situation, but do what's right. Just saying, if you have the money, right? I'm thankful I'm not a CEO of one of these companies right now. They're probably losing sleep. I mean, it's not a good day to be them right now. Everybody hates it. What's the most classes that I have taught in a day? In a row, 8 has been my max. My kids currently are 6, 5, 4, and 1.5. So when I started with the company, my 4-year-old was like 6 months old. So I've had, little ones during this time. So it's been nice teaching while they're sleeping. Thankfully, my kids sleep pretty well, but it's been difficult on times when I have a kiddo that's sick, or when I've been sick, or I've taught right after my mom passed away, or right after I lost a baby. I've had to teach through very difficult situations and just fake it till I make it. I've had to teach with the stomach flu. I've had to teach with no voice. I've had to teach with pink eye, and I wore pink red heart glasses, and my eye was like swollen shut, and my students didn't know because I was wearing funny glasses. I've taught through a lot of difficult situations. I was put under review because when I was teaching when I was sick one time, a parent complained that I looked tired. Yeah, I was tired. I was put under review because of parent complaints. So I have not been the best teacher at all times, but I've been, trying my best. I'm maybe not the best example of the best teacher ever, but this is me when I'm teaching online. This is how I do. These are my little friends when we teach online. What's up, China? No, we live in Hong Kong now. Okay, moving on. Anyway, y'all are adults. Just went down to 11 viewers. But I do love me some props. I am indeed a prop queen. But yeah, let's see. As Seto mentioned, I knew parents would do what he said, sign up for themselves, but put their kid in front or set off to the side. Yes, definitely. Education First is still doing classes. Do you think there will be a frenzy this weekend for Education First or for VIPKID? I believe that there will be a frenzy on Sunday night for VIPKID, yes. But it is my belief that not everything that books will stick. In other words, maybe we'll see a lot of bookings, but then we'll also see cancellations before we get to that time. It's interesting. It's interesting. I need to check out your Varsity Tutors video. Might do that. Yeah. Varsity Tutors is a good option. I'm setting it up as my backup plan because, I've had like VIPKID and Outschool together, right? So I might be losing VIPKID, it seems like. So I just have Outschool, and I don't recommend people only have one job because at any point you could lose that job. I recently saw a post from someone that their sister just got fired from Outschool because she had to cancel 10 classes in a day because of an emergency. And usually Outschool is very forgiving with their cancellation policy, but if they're starting to get a larger number of teachers, maybe they're getting less lenient with their cancellation policy. So we do have to be careful that it is possible to get fired from Outschool. So I'm setting up Varsity Tutors, which pays less, but I'm getting it set up as my backup plan. So I did that interview, and anytime I interview for a company, I like to record it because that can be helpful. I know it was helpful for me whenever I was applying for VIPKID, so I try to make helpful videos for people who are applying. Oh, the VIPKID frenzy. Yeah, I believe that we will have a frenzy, and not all of the bookings will stick until the time of the booking. I think the ones on the weekends that will book will also be canceled. Who knows? I don't see bookings anymore that for class bookings started. Applied to 20 companies, hoping for the best. I wish all the best for you. There's a lot of good options out there, and hopefully you can get bookings and pay your bills. That's just, Lord help Sharon to get an awesome job that's even better than the ones she's had before. I just pray you would provide for all of her financial needs. We just trust you, Lord, and thank you so much. Okay, quick prayer for Sharon. All right, I feel for you. For me, the worst was when I found out my uncle passed away while I was teaching and I had many classes left. Just shows we never know what someone is going through. Yeah. I hesitate to mention things like that on YouTube because people are mean. People are mean. I say, like, if I can say, like, yeah, right after I found out my mom passed away, I had to teach classes that morning. Someone else was like, well, I could never do that. Like, and I'm like, I didn't have another option. Like, I have mouths to feed. Like, I have to keep working. So, like, just canceling classes wasn't an option. You know, when I was sick, it wasn't an option to cancel classes. So yeah, it might be nice to have the luxury of being able to cancel classes. I couldn't, you know. So I hesitate to mention all that I've been through because some people are so critical and they're like, oh, how can you be so heartless to work after your mom died? It's like, what else can you do? You know, like I got mouths to feed. I'm like, I got to keep it moving. That's why I garden. That's why I grow food. I grow fruits and vegetables now because a year ago, the grocery store shelves were empty and I've got mouths to feed. So I was like, I guess I need to learn how to grow food. I enjoy growing food. Feel free to check out those videos about my garden. Right now, there's a whole lot of weeds in my garden, but I've got lots of fruits and vegetables growing too. So it's kind of like a weedy jungle. I just have a jungle in my side yard. It's interesting, but hey, I'm growing food, so it is what it is. So yeah. Because of living in Vietnam, I can't get on Outschool. Yes, I'm glad you're aware of that though, James, because I've got people contacting me that say, I'm applying for Outschool. I've applied 5 different times and been rejected, but they won't tell me why, and they're not communicating. I think they're getting so many applications right now that they're just like accept or reject, right? And they're not telling people why. So people are like reapplying, even though it's like, honey, if you live outside the US, unfortunately, the US and Canada, unfortunately, they're not hiring in that situation. Hopefully they change that. I would love to see them change that. But currently that's how it is. VIPKID is ruthless when you have a teacher no-show. Oh my goodness, guys, I posted on my YouTube channel a funny like joke someone posted. Let me share this. I'm gonna just share it right now. This cracked me up. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen and show you guys something funny. If you've ever had to try to get a soft cancellation, which I've had to, this will make you laugh. So somebody posted this on Facebook and I had to share it. She said, so I'm going to need VIPKID to submit a doctor's note, birth certificate, GPS tracking log, outage screenshot with dates and times, DNA sample, and recent store receipt for all of these cancellations. You gotta laugh or we're gonna cry, right? It's just like, VIPKID, let me tell you. August bookings were amazing. Do you know why August bookings were amazing? Because all these parents, not all, but a lot of these parents were assuming that starting September 1st, we would not have classes, and they already paid for their packages. They want to get their money's worth because they're not sure if they'll get a refund. There's a lot of hearsay among the parent community as well on the China side. I said that wrong. I didn't see too many frenzy bookings since they're able to book 4 on Saturday night. Interesting. Were you always a go-getter? I love how you take initiative on things. So inspiring. Thank you. Yes, I am a go-getter. The first time I got nicknamed a go-getter was when I wanted to go to Uruguay, South America for a missions internship. I went to Bible college. And I talked to the missionary and she was like, okay, speak Spanish with me. And I was like, mi color favorito es azul. And she was like, okay, about that. If you want to come to Uruguay, South America, you're going to need to know how to speak Spanish better. And so good luck with that. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? So I prayed about it and I ended up leaving Bible college, going to missionary language school for a year, living in the dorms with all Spanish speakers while studying Spanish. It was really difficult. But now how many years later? I'm bilingual. My husband's from Ecuador. So I did spend 2 months in Uruguay. My Spanish was much better than before, but now it's better than then. And now I teach Spanish online, which is nice. And by the way, I have a Spanish class for adults that I just posted on Your Teachable Moment. Let me pull that up for you guys. Let's see. So if you guys are interested in taking a Spanish class, I set it rather affordably. So here we go. This is the website. I'll show you. This is the website, Your Teachable Moment. I interviewed Dawn, who howdy, Evelyn. I love how they say howdy. All right, let's go over to our instructors. We're going to scroll down. We're going to find Teacher Evelyn Joy. Okay, so it's in alphabetical order. So I'm under E for Evelyn. There I am right here. You see me, Evelyn Joy? So I'm clicking on it. So here, down here, I have a Spanish conversations class, and I have gardening 101. So either class you want to take from me, if you're interested. So it's $20 for 4 classes. So this is a course. So in other words, it's $5 per 30-minute class, but it's like you have to buy the set of 4 classes. So it's in September. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for me. It's going to be September 6th through the 27th, which is Monday nights. And then my gardening class is going to be Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Time Zone, whatever it's called, September 9th through the 30th. So anyway, just shameless plug. Gotta let people know. So that's teaching adults. It maxes out at 8 students for each class, and that's all I have listed for now. If it fills up, if it's popular, then I will make some more. So I'm just kind of like testing the waters here and there. I did teach a class for Your Teachable Moment 1 year ago when they first started off as a platform, and I interviewed the CEO, Dawn, then. But now it's new and improved website and back up and running and doing really great. They've got a lot of the bugs and kinks worked out, and so now it's ready to go, good to go. So love it. But Outschool is my main gig at the moment. But yeah, if you are interested in working on Your Teachable Moment and teaching some adults, you can be located anywhere in the world. You don't have to have a degree. You don't get a background check. It's just you're teaching adults, so why do we need a background check? Is their perspective, right? Yeah, Outschool because they can't do the background check. But Your Teachable Moment, you could teach on. There's an option for you. Yes, I'm the same. Can't get Outschool because I'm living in Poland. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that for you guys. Hesitant to apply for Outschool. Seems like a lot of planning. Okay, so this is my soapbox. It sounds like a lot of planning, but it's actually not. Okay. I spent yesterday like an hour and a half talking to a teacher on the phone, explaining how Outschool is a lot easier than you think it is. Because, for example, I make $40 an hour on Outschool, so a little bit of planning is not that bad. And you could teach any subject you want. So just whatever you're passionate about, turn it into a class, and just should be fun, right? I had 412 classes in July. I was hoping all this would continue with VIPKID until the end of February. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. What is the pay like in Vietnam? Yeah. To teach school, it's $20 to $25 without a teaching certificate. Oh, interesting. Okay. Dollars? Probably, yeah. If you have a teaching certificate, it can be up to $40 USD. Interesting. Would you get more if you have qualifications? Oh, yeah, you just answered that. That's very reasonable. Yeah. Oh, okay, my friends. Wow, this is so fun hanging out with you guys. We should do this more often, or maybe I should learn to sleep. So today, what I'm doing is I'm going to a homeschool co-op. No. Yeah. A planning meeting for moms for homeschool co-op. So I'm teaching Spanish at the homeschool co-op on Tuesday. So what it is for the whole family, I just have to pay $50. Can you believe that? That's such a good deal for the whole semester. But then I had to spend like $100 on school supplies, buying like the list of school supplies for my kids. But I have 4 kids, so so this is what I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be teaching like 10. I'm going to be teaching like 10 to like middle school and high schoolers and elementary, and I'm going to be using this for both. So the first day I'm going to have them like draw a picture of themselves, write their name here, like write how old they are, write their birth date, write things that they like, write about their family and where they live, things that they like their favorite subjects, things that they like to do, something about themselves, something interesting about themselves, what they like to eat. So it's kind of like a Spanish art project because they're going to be drawing some pictures. They're going to be writing some Spanish words and drawing some pictures. So should be fun. So that's what we're doing for my first class. So is there any other language I want to learn? Oh, yeah. Yes, everything. I want to speak every language. So need I start the list? Chinese, Italian, Portuguese, French. So Italian and Portuguese are pretty easy for me to understand because I speak Spanish fluently. I can like watch a movie in Italian or Portuguese, and with subtitles in Italian or Portuguese, I can understand quite a bit of what's going on, which is a fun exercise for my brain. But with French, it's not so much listening that I understand, but written I understand it more because the pronunciation is different, you know? It's interesting. Anyway. Okay, the universities pay over $50 an hour if you have your PhD. Yeah. Law degree, and contemplating. Very cool. Delta and Delta. I'm not sure what that is because I'm not very smart. Just kidding. But yeah, I have my Bachelor of Arts degree in Intercultural Studies, and I was beginning to get a master's degree. I took my first class for a master's program, Master's of Education emphasis in teaching ESL. But then I met my husband, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm not going to be single. Maybe I don't want all this debt. Because like most of college, I worked several jobs and applied for scholarships and grants so that I didn't have to take out any student loans. Then like the last semester of college, I had to take out a student loan. And then for the master's program, I had to take out a student loan. So I ended up like dropping out because I was like, if I'm actually going to be married and have kids, maybe I don't want to have debt. So now, years later, last year I finished paying off my student debt and paying off my mortgage. Okay, so our house though, like we live in a really bad neighborhood, but it's a really nice house. So we have no debt right now, but like we'd like to move to a nicer area, so we need to work on saving money. We have some money saved. We just got a new driveway to like our house is going up in value, but the whole housing market's going up in value. So it's kind of like, anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting. Have you ever thought about being a person elementary school teacher? I feel like kids would love you. Are you talking about me? Here's the deal. Like, oh, an in-person elementary school? Are you saying in-person elementary school teacher? Yes. Okay. So before I got married, well, before I had kids, I was an ELL aide in the public elementary school. And then I was a migrant. Then when I was married and pregnant with my first, I was a migrant tutor, a tutor to migrant students in middle school and high school down in Texas. And then once I had my kids, I was working at a Christian daycare and I hated it. And now that I have my own kids, here's the deal. I'm fine with raising other people's kids, but I don't want someone else raising my kids. And I just realized, like, the thing about public school is I don't get to see my kids enough, and they're growing up so fast. Like, I want to be a part of their education. And then on top of that, I understand why people have to wear masks all day at school. I understand the reasoning, and I'm not totally against masks, okay? But making kids wear it all day long, it's just, if I don't have to, I don't want to, because I struggle personally with wearing the mask just to the grocery store because I like my face is sweating and I like have trouble breathing in it. It makes me anxious. How am I going to make my kids do that all day long? You know what I mean? So with everything going, and then also, you know, with COVID and everything, it's better to socially distance. So when all that hit, I was like, okay, I need to homeschool. And then the grocery stores were empty and I was like, okay, I need to learn how to grow a garden. So I've been like gardening and learning how to homeschool. So we do the homeschool co-op, which is awesome because just one day a week we get to go and the moms are the teachers and the kids get to have classes. So there's like 60 children among us moms because each mom has like 2 to 6 kids. So there's only like 15 or 16 families. And so there's like 16 moms. And then, so that way we divide up and like, there's like a nursery and there's a preschool and then there's kindergarten and kindergarten, first grade, second grade. And so we get to teach some classes to the kids. So I'm teaching Spanish, which they think is awesome. And then my kids get to like make friends and take art class and stuff. So I'm not against my kids going to school and not being with me. It's just, I want to be a part of their education and a part of them growing up and them not just see me in the evenings on the weekends. You know what I mean? So it's been interesting trying to figure out motherhood and education, and it's just not as easy as it sounds before you have kids, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's answering that question. Also, classroom teacher all day long is a stressful job, and it's a 24/7 job. It's a big time commitment, and it's also a big financial commitment because you have to buy supplies for the students and the teachers are underpaid. And it's just, I preferred being an ELL aide so that I can assist the teachers, but just like teach little workshops. And since I was the only, at one point when I worked in the elementary school, I was the only person fluent in English and Spanish, and half of our parents only spoke Spanish. So I was paid extra to go to the parent-teacher conferences. I actually got paid a better rate being a translator at the parent-teacher conferences. And then just practically volunteer after school. I would, you know, translate for conversations of confused parents that were trying to communicate with the teachers. And then I would go to like IEP meetings, and that was just a part of my regular pay. And then, but I was supposed to be being an ELL aide, so I would have teachers that would be mad at me, like, oh, you were supposed to be in my classroom, but like the principal called me to the office for an IEP meeting, so like I had to translate, you know? So it was interesting. I definitely enjoyed that, being an ELL aide, and if push come to shove, I would go back to that. The neighborhood we're living in, the public schools are rough, but if we were to move to a nicer neighborhood, the public schools are better. And so potentially we could go to public school. I looked into going to Christian school, would love that, but it's so expensive with 4 kids to go to private school. So potentially I could be a teacher at a Christian school, and if they let my 4 kids come for free, then I could do that. But I really don't want to be a classroom teacher, really, unless I was like teaching Spanish, then I would like it. So it's interesting. So anyway, that's a little bit about my perspective on that. But yeah. It's going up everywhere in the world right now, property. Yeah. In China, the property is like whew, through the roof in neighborhoods that have good public schools, because what's happening is China's like, okay, no more private schools, no more private tutoring. Public school day is longer now. And so all the parents are scrambling, like, we've got to move apartments. We've got to move over to that district where we've got to move over there where they've got the best public school. Because if they can't go to private school anymore and they can't do private tutoring anymore, suddenly their public school matters a lot. So they've got like this housing market boom right now as far as like moving apartments and everything. And the government's cracking down on that as well because they have to have control of everything and they can't just let things be. But so they passed a new rule that the principal of the school, the headmaster or whatever, has to change every 6 years randomly to other schools. So they have to like change around. Why? So that hopefully that'll somehow help the housing market not be as much of an issue, because then parents won't be able to predict it. I predict that that will not work. Just guessing. That probably the headmaster's not the only thing good about the school, right? Just guessing. But anyway, it's like anytime something goes wrong in China, they have to make like all these regulations to try to make everything perfect, and it doesn't work out the way that they plan. Just saying. Now it makes sense why some families had multiple apartments due wanting to be in the school district. Oh, I didn't know they had multiple apartments. I did have, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I did have one student who probably had more than one home. She was, maybe not. I don't know. She was always in different places. She would be like visiting her grandma and at her friend's house and at her house. Maybe she only had one. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, this has been a nice long video. I was shocked that VIPKID got an address in Hong Kong. And now their Facebook page says based out of Hong Kong. So as I find out more information, the specific address, wouldn't it be interesting if the specific address that they give out, if they give one out, if it's the same address as Wales and Data ABC, then it would make me think that it's just like some like tax lawyer has this one apartment or this one suite or whatever that's like for all of the ESL companies to like make their technical address, and like all this mail comes to them. This one's for Wales, this one's for Data ABC, this one's for VIPKID. Anyway, should be interesting. But yeah. Thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. My side hustle that I'm trying to turn into something is YouTube. So last month I made $40 on YouTube. The month before that I made 20. The month before that I made 20. The month before that I made 20. You don't even get a paycheck from YouTube unless you make 100. This month I've made like 140. So I'm actually finally going to get a check from YouTube, which is going to be like 200, like woo, which is going to help a little bit combat all of the income I'm losing with VIPKID. So in case you're wondering if YouTube can be profitable, it can be, but I've been on YouTube for 4 years. There are some people that they just go viral and they just have like millions of views. And I think I prefer having a smaller community, even though money's nice and all that. But I recently had some person be like, how can you, this was right before we lost all our bookings with VIPKID. How can you be so negative? I thought you were a Christian. Christians aren't supposed to be negative. They're supposed to be positive all the time. I'm like, okay, have you read the Bible? How much negative stuff is in the Bible? Like everything. Okay, every prophet went through negative trials and difficult things. Jesus, like, straight up flipped over tables in the temple. He was not always positive and lovey-dovey. He would tell people to their faces, he told it like it is. And it's not wrong to tell the truth of what's going on. And that doesn't make me somehow not Christian. That comment really perturbed me, because it's so annoying. Like, I would never like talk about someone's faith and be like, oh, you're not a Christian because you blah, 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 blah. It's like, you don't know me, kid. Like, lady, you don't even know me. It's interesting. That kind of comment is just, gets under my skin. So that's one thing, like, sometimes you don't want to be on YouTube because you have to have thick skin. And I don't sometimes. Sometimes I'm a little bit sensitive. One time in particular, someone said something extremely hurtful. They wished death on my unborn baby. And I've lost 4 pregnancies. So that was just a random troll on someone else's YouTube video. There was a video of someone who was pregnant with twins and one of their babies died. And I just said, I'm so sorry. Like, that's so scary. I'm pregnant. I've lost babies too. And like, my heart goes out to you and I'm praying for you and stuff. So this person commented like, oh, you'll be next making a boohoo video about your baby dying on YouTube. I was like, are you serious right now? Like, when you're pregnant, your emotions are crazy. That one was probably the comment that hurt me the most, just because while I was an employee with VIPKID, let's see, 2 years ago, almost exactly, I lost Gabriel. So I was 17 months pregnant, and I actually had to give birth because I was having pregnancy complications. I went to the hospital and found out my baby didn't have a heartbeat anymore. So the next day I had to give birth, and then, I had to go back to teaching on VIPKID as if everything was fine and everything, and it was hard. But so yeah, my heart goes out to anyone that loses pregnancies and stuff. But yeah, sometimes it's hard being on YouTube. For example, my friend Cindy Bennett, she interviewed Nancy Taylor, and Nancy Taylor a little bit talked about all of the hatred she's received online, and that was even before she was accused of being racist and fired and all that. So the more popular you are online, the more just random jerks you have commenting. So anytime you guys say something nice and say thank you or whatever, I just really appreciate it, because it makes me feel like I'm not doing this for nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Someone said, I love when a non-Christian tells a Christian how they should live. Yeah. Sometimes Christians can be ruthless too. Like this lady was talking high and mighty like she's a Christian, and good for her, I guess. My thing is, we're supposed to behave like Jesus, right? And sometimes we don't, and we need to work on that, right? So yeah, and some people, they accuse me of like not telling the truth, and that's why I try to be very careful on YouTube. I try to be careful to share actual news articles and actual facts. For example, this that I'm sharing right here in this video, this is actually the VIPKID. Oh, this one's the VIPKID website, and it actually, for contact us, it still says oh well, that's an email. Sorry. It still says that they're in Beijing and they're in San Francisco, right? So on their website it says that, but on the Facebook group, yes. On the Facebook group, it says, sorry, this is what I wanted to share. It actually says that the address is, based in Hong Kong right here. So it's interesting. So maybe we'll find out more about that address in Hong Kong. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, new subscriber from the Philippines. I really like your videos. Very informative. Thank you so much, Michelle. And it's very nice to meet you. Isn't it wonderful that we can connect with each other over the internet? You're in the Philippines, I'm in America, and we can be friends. So nice. Anyway, I have to go clean my house before my mother-in-law watches my kids. So I have to go. Okay, so culturally, my American culture, my house has to look perfect before I can let my mother-in-law come over to watch my kids. My Ecuadorian mother-in-law, she wants to come over and clean my house for me. So we have this like difference of cultures where like I want my house to be perfect, but I'm so bad at keeping my house perfect because I have 4 little kids, and I'm a naturally disorganized person. Because I'm a creative person, I'm a right brain person. That kind of person tends to be a little bit more disorganized. So anyway, I did the dishes and I swept the floor, but I need to maybe pick up a couple toys and organize the kitchen so that it's real nice for her, so that hopefully she feels appreciated when she comes over. I'll show you. Oh. Anyway, so my husband just sent me a message and was like, can you clean before my mom comes over? I was like, yeah, let me do that. I did do the dishes though, which is good. And I did the laundry yesterday. My husband does the laundry and then I put it away, but putting it away takes me like weeks. Anyway, good times, good times. All right. Thanks guys for watching. And I'm going to bring one of these with me to make copies of today. All right. Have a great day. Bye.